think it's game 3. Oh, he's here. Okay, fine.
He's here. Say it to his face. Go on, T. Say it to his face.
Bounce.
Nice.
He's hit it.
Thanks for the
Oh, look,
MVP, T.
I'll
Thank you so much.
No worries, boss.
I'll quickly jump in here. Stormstormer, congratulations. You guys keep the Div 1 dream alive for the team. But my God, do you guys not know fear? Do you like living on the edge, or do you just love tiebreakers? Like 3 tours in a row now, you're in tiebreaker situations.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's wild. Our team just ends up. I think actually, I don't know if there's been one DPC season so far where we did not end up in tiebreakers. I think looking back at the way entity, I think since the beginning, at the end of every season, we have been in tiebreakers. And the funny thing is, I think we also won every single tiebreaker. So yeah, it's always very tough. It's always like everything on the line. But luckily, we get our stuff together in this last series. So yeah, glad that we made it.
Yeah, you kind of show up when it needs to be. We might have to crown Entity as the tiebreaker kings over there. But we also noticed you guys went boot camping for this last week. It was something you mentioned previously in some of the interviews. But how did that affect you guys? Did you enjoy just being home or facing a bit of issues in the gameplay? It was like, wow, I wish we were at boot camp so we could talk about this stuff.
I think going home from bootcamp was reasonable. I think we have been together for, I don't remember the amount of days, but like 2 to 3 weeks or something. And people were getting like, it got towards the end, you could feel how people were like getting to the point where they would like to have more time alone and stuff like everything. So I would, in terms of our performance, like it did go down over like towards the end of the DPC season. But honestly, I would not even blame it on the fact that we were not on bootcamp. I think if you would have stayed on bootcamp, it would not have changed that much. I think it was reasonable duration.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, again, congrats on the win and well-deserved MVP, of course, in Game 3, just to clarify. I just double-checked, yeah, you are actually the only team across 2 years of DPC to play tiebreaker in Division 1. Like, every single time it shoots. That is a wild stat. Congratulations.
Oh, also when we started in Div 2, we played tiebreakers. Like, when we started in Div 2, right, 2021.
Yeah.
And there we also played tiebreakers for Div 1, so...
Oh my gosh!
It's annoying though, because your tiebreakers have gone from going up, and now the last 2 tours are tiebreakers on the way down. So can you please pick it up again? I want to see good, happy tiebreakers, not these ones where it's an emotional interview. All right, question. Can I be on? You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but what went wrong in this tour specifically? Do you think, like, to put yourself in this position, maybe go into Division 2, etc. Like, what would you say was the biggest issue in this this season for you, or this tour? Sorry, as a team, not you specifically.
I mean, there's also always multiple things, and there are probably like we're gonna have talks in the team as well, of course. Just now we focus on finishing this DPC, but of course nobody in the team was really happy about how things went. We had matches that we were like proud of how they went. Like, of course, the beginning of the DPC was super good, arguably because maybe Liquid also was not in best shape and they had GH as a stand-in, but our start was pretty good. And then I think our series against Gaming Gladiators was also like actually pretty well played. I think we could have won that series convincingly too with a 2-0. We just messed up in the second game. So there are definitely games where I think we played really well. But what was definitely frustrating is that there were some series or some matches where like we kind of lost ourselves, and we just lost in a way that we basically got smashed. I have to point out points, like, I guess it's tough to reveal everything, but I think just the way we approach problems sometimes might have been too slow, or like the work, not only in, like, for me at least, I think like the work not only inside the game but also outside the game has been a little bit like sloppy, or they were like it was tough to like find proper solutions to things just simply because of, I don't know, I guess the synergy between some players. Not excluding myself. This is like what comes to mind for me as well. Of course, sometimes also people have a bad day, but I think just I'm not sure. We will just see what it takes to figure out our best drive again. Like this is the crazy part about it. We can have games in Deep DPC where we play like super good tier 1 Dota, but then there's also games where we like play not so good Dota and we like just get smashed. So it's a process of being a team, I guess, you know, like figuring out what you should do better is kind of tough in a complex game like this. You have 5 people plus like a coach, an analyst, maybe your manager adds some things. Everybody has like their own like ideas. So it is of course tough to like figure out why exactly is it not working right now. But it's a work in progress, and you just gotta try things right and see where it goes. And this time it just did not go so well for us. pretty long answer, but yeah.
No, I mean, thank you for the honesty for sure. I guess follow up as well is when I think about Entity and your successful time, it was when DPC was a 6-week league rather than the 3-week league. Do you prefer having, like, would you prefer having like more time between the series to kind of treat each week as a new, journey, or do you prefer like the more condensed leagues, even if your results aren't reflecting the successes of before?
That is a very good question. I think that now definitely feels more intense, but I would prefer the system over the last system last year for sure. I think 7 weeks or 6 weeks what it was too much, and you had breaks that were just overdoing it. You had like 6 or 7 days breaks sometimes. I guess 6 was the maximum, but that was definitely too much for me and some of my teammates back then. I do like how it is right now. I think it could be a little bit less dense. Like there are days where you play, then you have 1 day break, and then you play again. I personally would like to have like 2-day breaks maybe in between, like a small change of things. But I think the way it is right now, it is like doable. It's just very intense, and the teams that are able to adapt quickly and are like open to change and find solutions quickly, basically just come ahead, come ahead in the end. I think what is a bit tough is like that the schedule, especially also with Dream League happening, is very tense. Like after DPC and after majors, like the break after the major is just insanely close. You look at Gaming Gladiators Liquid, they fly home from their majors, and people tweeting like, "Holy shit, DPC starting in 3 days again already!" Like it's so tight. So I think these breaks, like not maybe necessarily inside a season, but between a major and the DPC season, should be a bit bigger, I think.
Just to kind of rest, reset, and bring everyone kind of back to that level playing field. Cool. Thank you very much.
Right. Because I think at the end people want to see like people when they're like in the refreshed state and everything, right? Where people are like playing their best. And I think it's a bit like overdoing it that it's like so dense that people play a major TI like major final like Team Liquid or Gaiman, and then they have to only 5 days rest and go into DPC right again. That's a bit crazy to me.
Okay, Stürmi. Who has the strongest voice in your team, in and out of the game? I need to know.
The strongest voice?
Yeah, like
this
who
DPC
has like
season,
the
I
most,
think the most saying, or like who talks the most, I guess.
No, not who talks the most. More like who says the most important stuff. Who has the most authority in and out of the game?
I guess it switches from. I mean, we definitely have some more quiet players and more like sitting back players. For example, Katome and Toby are a little bit more chill, a little bit more behind the scenes. They say occasionally things where they're getting annoyed by something or like they think something's really important, but they are more, more relaxed in the back. I think this season especially was Fishman who did this job. What you mentioned, like he was pushing for a lot of things, was very active, pushed other players. Like he went beyond his own limits in some regards. Like definitely big shout out to him. Like Dima did a really insane job, like inside the game and then after, like just looking at what is going wrong, trying to figure, like, you know, sometimes even another players like maybe not like fully in shape or something, and he was like doing his best to like make up for that, or like, you know, talk to people, look for solutions, push for some things. Maybe, of course, sometimes maybe he also overdid it a little bit, but I think in general the way he did it was like insanely good. And then after that, I guess, I mean, our coach, of course, always like talks a lot, like makes people like think about drafts and everything. And I guess me would be like number 3 or like on somewhere there. And yeah, that's the way. I think Watson, Katsumi, and Toby are the more chill guys in the back.
Okay, got it. That's insightful. And then I have one more. So I'm just going to be honest. I think a lot of your openings, I personally don't like them when it comes to draft. And you talked about some of your shortcomings in this DPC season. Would you say it's more about gameplay? Is it more about draft? Or is it like a mix of everything? Like what would you attribute your losses or the weaker gameplay of this season to? To which aspect?
Definitely drafting matters a lot for the fact, but it's also basically it's we got like a little bit baited by some things, by some openings for sure. Like looking back at the season, there were just openings that were just straight up not good, and we valued things in a wrong way. And this is basically what I meant at the beginning on the first question, like what we didn't work well on before, is that we like basically we're not sure in this current meta what are like the good drafts, what is like a good solid opening that cannot get countered, or like basically is a solid foundation for your draft. Like that's what we struggled with doing in this DPC quite a lot. So for sure, I think, I mean, not only me, but many people on my team, probably everybody says like, oh, we like our drafting in this season was just basically not on point. and we struggled really hard. I do think that gameplay was connected to it, though. I think there have
Of
been
course.
games where like players, once again, also including me, just didn't play their best, and then like a draft they could have, that might even be favorable for enemies, still looked like even worse, just because people were not fully in shape. So
Of
it's always connected, but yeah, we were not happy with our drafts in some situations either.
Okay, yeah, as a very big entity fan, I had to ask the question. Thank you.
No, reasonable.
No cap. No cap.
Okay.
I'm done.
Well, look, at the end of the day, Stormstormer, you guys came out on top of tiebreakers. Like I said, we're crowning you the tiebreaker kings over an entity there. So congratulations and enjoy that slot still in Div 1.
Yeah, and thank you. And also shout out to Anzantic, his Ember owned me game too. So that guy made me sweat. GG's.
Fair enough, shout out. Enjoy the rest of your night, Stormstormer.
Thank you guys. Have a nice evening.
See ya.